We could be live. I'm not sure.
I think we are live. Let's see.
Are we live? I don't know. It hasn't happened yet because it happens like with a delay. And so you never know if you're really live until you are. You are?
You are, you're not.
You are. Oh, okay. There's my sound. I shut it off.
There you go. You caught it.
Yeah, cool. I caught it right away.
You can be taught.
Yeah. Anyway, Smokey was talking about how people pick on him about his laugh. And now he's always calling people soy boy. And my son hates when I use that term. He said it's from the incels.
Yeah, incels use that term a lot.
Yeah, so why does Smokey use it? So, but anyway.
He doesn't know what the hell it means.
So Smokey was, talking about how they'll find your soft spot and go after it. So his laugh is a soft spot, and he's got a good point. It's not something that he can control. It's part of, who he is. And yet he does exactly that to other people. Does it just fly over his head that he's doing the same thing? He picked on me about my drug addiction, about, a couple of my pudding and, things that you say. So he'll just dive at you, and find your soft spot. And then he was complaining, and then he's always talking about, feelings. Oh, they're all about the feelings. Well, he was talking about his feelings. I don't know. Anyway, I listened to this conversation. I think it was the one I have up on the board, but I'm not sure which video this is. It's just a screenshot. I am very confused. Okay. sfmod and Smokey are not my friends. Obviously, we have an enemy thing going on here, right? So I get on Smokey's stream and I say sfmod doesn't actually know anything about science, and it confused Smokey because he's like, Speed. He was going to disagree with me, and then he's like, I agree with you. And then later in the same stream, sfmod, who I have given so much shit, Joel, comes back and says Speed is a better Christian than Smokey Saint. Speed's actually offered to try and reason out the differences. But then I listened to, I think it was this stream or another stream Smokey did, and I am willing to, he had a really good philosophical discussion with somebody named Jimmy and Brenda. And he got into it a little bit, but they were talking about Wittgenstein and word games, and it was actually very, very good. And I'm like, okay. So, I saw that, and I saw the debate with David Neff. So I'm willing to, I think Smokey is evolving a little bit maybe, and he may have a good channel. So is that bad of me to say that Smokey might have a good channel?
He was arguing about Wittgenstein and semantics. That's kind of
actually, Jimmy was the big Jimmy, Jimey. I don't know who the fuck that is. And Brenda, we're talking about word games and science, and basically Wittgenstein's idea of word games, and which is an interesting subject in itself, basically.
Yep.
Family resemblance and all of that stuff with Wittgenstein. So, but they had a pretty, what I listened to, the 15 minutes I listened to in the middle of that was fairly good. So, yeah, he still calls females all female whores and such. But, then, when he hosts really good philosophical discussions and he does it in a fair way, I've got to give him credit, because he deserves credit for that. And I think maybe that's what attracts you and Leo to keep fucking going over there. I don't know.
And I just go over there because, if he wants to have an honest discourse about, science or whatever, or something like that, I'll entertain it. But,
yeah.
The moment you want to, start throwing out these, bullcrap,
well, he does that.
Comments, it's I'm not going to take you seriously. I have no reason to take seriously somebody who just can't avoid, insults.
He did that here with Brenda. He says, your low-life trailer trash thinking. He just throws it out as sort of, it's almost like a tick. He can't avoid that either.
But the way you respond to that is, okay, so what? How does that actually address the argument I made?
Right. Well, that's definitely an ad hoc.
No, the thing is with him, just accept it. right?
Yeah.
For the sake of argument, just granted. It's like, okay, cool. You could be completely correct. How does that dismantle my argument? How does that do, where exactly is my argument wrong?
Right.
Okay, so I'm trailer trash, but you haven't addressed like the actual content of my argument. So what's going on?
We forgot to do a washing machine check today. Am I sounding okay today?
No, you actually don't sound like you're in the middle of a freaking vortex.
Cool.
God.
Let me see if I can switch my audio over to the right speaker and something to show. Oh my. Oh wow. It's like you're coming out of the middle of my head. Oh, I have headphones on. That always frightens me.
There we go.
Yep. Speed of sound, big mouths, and tiny arguments. Where's big mouths and tiny argument? Wait, what the fuck is wrong with it?
Oh, apparently Nakasuchi is back. Nakasuchi is live.
Oh, soon?
No, he's live now, apparently.
Oh, damn. Yeah, he starts at about 10 o'clock, so maybe we'll wrap this up fast. I just wanted to, let's see what I have here. There was a part here, let me see, was it at 43, 56? I just wanted to play this about lies.
Wondering about just the facts. I think I heard somebody saying, and then
Oh, wait a minute.
talking about people lying. I just wondered how important really is that in relation to what you're talking about and just general life as a Christian.
How important is evolution or creation?
No. No, what I mean is in relation to evolution, just the facts and people not lying, like how important is that, within evolution, but then in just everyday life as a Christian, I'm wondering.
Well, I would say that the first thing you need to understand is that you have a creator. Then you can understand that only your creator can be your savior.
Okay.
Well, I think especially if lies are being used to push the human evolution narrative, because these things we're talking about here, you're not going to find these really in the museums. They're not so outspoken of these things that, hey, listen, Lucy, Australopithecus afarensis, who we say humans evolved from 6 million years ago. Hey, did you know that Lucy's a mix of human and ape bones? Hey, did you know humans lived at the same time as Lucy, supposedly your great-great-great-grandfather? So that's the thing.
Okay, there was one bone found that may have been out of place in Lucy, and it may have been an orangutan or something, or something else. And so he's calling the entire fossil into question, as he does every fossil. Now,
Well, so the thing is, and this is a common tactic creationists use. What particular hominid was Lucy? Australopithecus.
Also, I find it.
Hold on, let me look it up.
yeah, Walker and Erica. I know so little about the human line. I mean, I don't pay attention to humans so much in evolution. That
Lucy apparently was Australopithecus afarensis.
Yeah.
But so creationists always seem to go after the index fossils for whatever reason. So the fossil that
The holotype. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's this thing about, okay, well, what about other specimens that belong to Australopithecus afarensis? Right?
Yeah, and if you read the article where they found that misplaced bone, they did it with really, they worked very hard in order to find out that this bone may not articulate well with the rest of them. And the thing is, don't you think they did that for all the other bones that they do consider part of that fossil?
Well, and the thing is, right, it's if we discovered other Australopithecine afarensis fossils later in time, which I'm pretty sure there's more than one of them, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be appropriate to assume that the structure of the bones, in the general dimensions they have are similar among those species?
Yeah, and every fossil they find is like a crime scene, and they investigate it with probably with 100 times more care than they investigate any crime scene in contemporary crime scene. Because I mean, we've got dozens or hundreds of people looking at these fossils and putting them together. Now, Standing's big thing is that they found out that a couple of different what were considered ancestors at one point to humans, to Homo, were actually still alive at the same time, which is the same as Tiktaalik. We're going to find that, right? We're going to find that it's bushy. The evolution was bushy. So he's saying that they were found at the same time, and he's extrapolating from that and saying they were the same fossil find. I mean, if you find a pile of bones, and then there's another pile of bones 5 feet away from a different species, you're going to know pretty much. And then in some cases, all these bones get jumbled together and they have to sort them out. But I mean, they do this with great care. His whole thing, he believes that all prehistoric or pre-human, pre-hominid fossils were collections of multiple, organisms in one.
I mean, he stated in another view though too, which is that he thought that so like other like hominid species like Australopithecus afarensis and like Homo naledi and things like that are essentially like degenerate forms of modern humans. Yeah. And those two things do not. That is a contradiction, but he doesn't care. But the thing is, he doesn't know he's doing this. I mean, let me see. There was another part.
Point out that like Erica, Neff and I, we did a video debunking Erica on fossils, and she scoffs at our claim that oftentimes these so-called hominids are reconstructed based on mixed species, wastebasket taxon. Remember, Neff, build your own hominid?
Yeah. I still want to make a toy set, man.
Yeah.
Plastic.
I'm wondering about
okay, so
how important is evolution?
I would say that the first thing you need to understand is that you have a creator. Then you can understand that only your creator can be your savior.
I think especially if lies are being used to push the human evolution narrative.
Played that already too.
Because these things we're talking about here, you're not going to find these really in the museums. They're not so outspoken of these things that, hey, listen.
So he really believes that we're lying or somebody is lying to them, and we're saying that they're lying to us. So you see here again, we're using the same narrative.
Oh, query for the panel. What are the odds sfmod Joel is an actual scientist? Well, it's about the same odds that I can roll a snowball through a fiery pit and it'll survive in one piece.
Okay, I mean,
the way he talks about science, I would severely doubt it.
Well, I'm sorry, but sfmod is discoverable on Google. And you can actually find the man's resume. And I don't know why he insists on stretching the truth as much as he does, but
he makes all sorts of wild claims. Like he worked for NASA. He developed calculators for like Texas Instruments.
Yeah,
and that is on his resume.
That one I can't find in his resume, but he did work for SpaceX. So
there you go.
But it looks like he was probably a cable installer and did some other work. I mean, what did he, I mean, I'm used to writing and reading resumes. So anyway, no, he's not a scientist. He's nothing like it. He knows nothing. And his history of science is really fucking suspect. Quite amazing. I think I asked somebody to provide me sources the other day. I don't have the link, but sources on Einstein or basically all scientists being creationists. And I think they provided me a link from one of those creationist websites that go through and talk about all the creationist science. Now, isn't creationism kind of new, like in the last 100 years or so, where they've kind of gotten crazy? Anyway. Anyway, yeah, Smokey, I don't know if you heard, but I actually threw you some kudos on a couple of your streams recently. I appreciated them. You had good talks. So anyway, what else is going on? Then he does this. As part of this, okay, they believe the lie of evolution is destroying us in some way. So,
well, the naturalistic worldview or the evolutionary starting point without a God would say that we're nothing but an animal. You know what I mean? We're not specially created. We're not made in the image of God. So those two positions, those two beliefs, I guess. If somebody grows up thinking they're just an animal, they're just a highly evolved ape, versus somebody who believes they're made in the image of God, they're specially created, I just think that will result in different thinking processes, different views on morality. I just think it's important to tell children.
God.
Well, that's one of the reasons.
Is it not possible for a person to believe that they're made in the image of God, but God used evolution to bring humans where they are?
I know, and I don't understand.
Am I the only person who's kind of like curious about that?
That's why I told that story.
Of speed. Maybe it's my connection. I don't know.
What's that? You can't hear me? Can anyone else hear me? You can't hear me at all.
Whoops. Say what you said again. For some reason, my hearing went out.
I said, can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I'm not sure if you got paranoid. Anyway, so yeah, I got on this Christian site for about 3 months and pretended I was a Christian because I wanted to talk to them about that view that, that basically God created the universe in such a way that the laws of the universe would result in man being created in his image. And I don't understand why that is such a problem. I mean, this whole war could stop. But the thing he said here about how believing that you're an animal changes the way you think about morality, that is a fact. And that's one of the reasons why I'm an anti-theist, because I think understanding how we evolved and how morality evolved, basically, how human cultures evolve, is important in our understanding what is really important to humans and what's not.
And I think evolution can provide an insight as to like the structure of morals, like in terms of, humans followed a certain evolutionary trajectory. And because of that, like the way we formulate morals as a social species is going to be different compared to certain other species and things like that. But I don't know if like science is well equipped to like handle the whole morality kind of topic, as it seems kind of something more philosophical in nature.
Fell out of favor and denominations distant from it saw a modern revival with the works of, okay, Nathan's back. Hi, Nathan.
Hey, my fault, guys.
Okay.
Difficulties.
Yeah, I mean, creationism seems like a natural thing that primitive societies would believe, I mean, I guess, how did things happen? So I guess it is old, but I mean, as far as getting really crazy about this absolute literal interpretation of the Bible, I think that is more of a 20th century thing. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. I know the shift to Jesus happened sometime after the 1960s, because when I went to church, they used to send us to all the churches on Wednesday. We had something we called religious, where we had to go to a church for an hour, and we went to the Catholics, the Lutherans, and the Presbyterians, and they would give us their spiel, and their spiel was about God. It wasn't Jesus oriented. And now today, people talk about Jesus more than they talk about God. I don't think that was the case back, prior to 1970. I don't know. Just an impression I had from small town America, It's what they talked about. I mean, the only time we talked about Jesus was on Easter and Christmas. And other than that, it was just, reading passages from the Bible. And It wasn't a whole lot of Jesus-oriented shit going on. I don't know why. That would be an interesting history to figure out. So, Nathan, can anybody hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Oh, good. I thought I was talking into a canyon, empty canyon. Nathan is muted.
Yep.
So,
can you hear me?
Yeah. What video did sfmod say that about me? Where he had
that was last night. I put it aside the private chat.
Oh, okay.
I had so much fun
did?
last night listening to that foolishness.
Oh, sfmod came on Smokey's channel? Or
Nah, he did it, but Smokey challenged him, man. I was provoking the sfmod the whole night trying to get him to go on that channel. It was so funny.
Oh, my.
Apparently, sfmod and Smokey Saint do not have a kindred relationship with each other.
Oh, I didn't know that sfmod went on there. He was in chat, or he went on live?
No, he was in chat. He didn't say anything. I think he was a little scared. But, man, all of them. It was like the praise thing again, man. All of them got on sfmod. Nicholas was like, I made a comment. I was like, well, sfmod is a trash clown. I can't say that though, because he's a Christian. Then Nicholas like, but he isn't a Christian. He serves science. His God is Einstein. I was dying laughing.
Oh my God. Oh, that would be one to check out today. I did not say. I don't know if I knew that was happening last night or not. I don't know. I was watching The Queen's Gambit on Netflix. I couldn't stop watching it last night. Watched 7 episodes almost without a break.
Nice.
That was the entire series, so it was pretty good. It was about chess, and I've never really been into chess. I always thought it to be a mental waste of time. But holy shit, this gives you an appreciation for chess. Very interesting. I don't know. Oh, let's see. Okay, so I put all that stuff in the chat, but we should probably go over and see what Knock is doing.
Yeah, I agree with Eric's comment that he made. I'm perfectly fine if they want to insert God in tape out Genesis or Big Bang, just give up this whole 6,000 young Earth creation crap.
Yeah,
it's flat Earth crazy. My thing is more so like, I don't care what your beliefs are. Just stop trying to pretend it's science.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it really isn't. Like, you don't have a method you can use to like create scientific predictions about the world. And I'm going to hold that position until they demonstrate otherwise.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I went and looked at one of those links about Lucy and the bone, and the thing I wanted to point out is that all of those guys are accusing evolution, all of biology, basically the entire community of biologists, of lying to them, lying about evolution. And we're accusing them of lying and we're using exactly the same language. I find that stunning. So that indicates that we have entirely different background mindsets, right?
No, I mean, it's just like when Maddox would cite papers.
Nathan.
Like when Maddox would cite papers, like, but you show him, like, hey, that's actually like not what the paper says, or not a position the paper supports. And you go to like the point in the article where it says the direct opposite. He'll make something up about the paper again. He'll be like, oh, well, you didn't read the paper.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, what you cited is from the abstract of the paper. What I read is from like the discussion.
So we both have, we have these flattened trees with signs printed on them, and we're looking at the same information, and we're both calling each other liars. I find that stunning.
I don't think Maddox is a liar. I just think he's just, it's at some level incompetent.
They really believe in what they're reading. Now, Standing for Truth, it has been shown over and over again, doesn't understand anything about genetics or the papers, yet he thinks he does. So what he knows about genetics, he thinks is the entire genetic story. So what they read on AIG and all these sites, they believe that's all they need to know. They don't need to know anymore. So,
and I guarantee you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, if I gave like Standing for Truth like a first year genetics exam, he would not pass.
Yeah.
Guarantee it.
But he thinks he thinks he has understood it all, everything he needs to understand in order to make a decision. And we're looking at him and we listen to him and we hear him say shit that just doesn't make any sense because we've actually read some textbooks and we have a different background. So anyway, they claim they have the same source material, that they're reading the same source material. They're not. We know something that they don't know. And of course they know something that we don't know. The Bible told them so. I don't know.
I think those guys they just like to argue. The other night, I think maybe it was Friday or something like that. I saw John Maddox argue with Brenda about giants actually existing.
Oh, I heard that.
Yes, I was like, what the fuck?
And they were talking about, and they showed a picture of somebody bench pressing 1,000 pounds, right?
Yes.
And that was their evidence. If you can bench press 1,000 pounds, then you can be a 10-foot high creature or whatever, or 20-foot high creature. I don't know.
You know, we joke around a lot, but I asked this question in earnest. Like when people like Maddox or Standing for Truth read a paper, what is it they're actually reading? Because I've read some of the papers like that Maddox has cited, and I just don't understand like where his conclusion is coming from. Like, I understand he has a different worldview than me, but I'm looking at the same paper and I'm like, okay, I don't see where the article says that, or like where it even hints to, like where it would even seem to support that conclusion. It's just, I don't know.
Smokey's out of the Brotherhood. Yeah, Smokey's out of the Brotherhood. Anyway, yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting war. You know, I don't think like I told sfmod the other night, he was really butthurt by our putting a ferry up and calling him Joel. God. And I told him, play it like a game. I mean, it's like, if we met in person in a store, I would get out of the way and let him go first if he had less items than me. If he needed $1, I'd give him $1. I mean, we're humans at the end of the day, and we're doing this shit like a game, right? So let's keep it a little lighter.
I mean, the thing is, he takes it so seriously.
Oh, he gets really butthurt. So.
Like him and Otangelo both. I mean, you and Otangelo had like several breakups over the fact that you just wouldn't agree with Otangelo.
Smokey made a comment here. Point out the trash and let everyone make their own decisions, and that's a valid thing. That's what we're doing too. But Smokey, you have to understand that we differ significantly in our worldview and opinions, and we kind of have to allow for that. I'm trying to figure that out. I'm trying to figure out why Standing for Truth would start talking about biology lying to him. Oh, do you know what I saw the other night?
What do you see?
Where the fuck was it? It was Jungle Jargon saying, I want evolution removed from all of the textbooks, all of the newspapers, all of the magazines. He was demanding that we censor evolution and talk. That's what he was demanding. It was really
why? I mean, what has evolution done to him?
I don't know, but he's demanding that they take it out. And that was an interesting opinion by somebody who is going to cast a vote on November 3rd.
I guarantee you, I don't think like SFT would be as vocal with it, but I guarantee you he has the exact same opinion. I guarantee it to you.
It's kind of the way he said it. It was kind of scary. It almost indicated that if fundamentalist Christians were in charge of the entire government and they modified the Constitution, there would be a constitutional amendment that we couldn't talk about evolution in printed material.
You know, there's one unspoken rule on this channel, and that is like we don't attack jungle jargon.
Oh, we don't?
I
know.
I mean, without being a little harsh about it, I don't know like if he's had like things happen in his life.
Yeah, well, I'm not attacking him. I'm just repeating what he said.
No, I'm
And-
not sure if like he has like mental impairments.
Yeah, but he votes, right? He's not. He's the vote is something he can do.
Yeah. Which
So
is sad.
how impaired is he?
I have no clue. I mean, because every time I've heard him talk, it's been like the same basic point. And he takes like 5 minutes to articulate one point.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Yep. Anyway, so let's end this and go see what Knock is doing. What do you think?
Yep.
I just want to make this last point. Last night, I think Smokey got to the closest point of understanding how a atheist think. He made this comment. He said that understanding how evolution is, and if you go all the way back, you could almost, if you were to take that route, he said, if you were to take that route, I can understand why you would be justified in saying that there's no reason for a God. And that's a good point what he made.
Well, he does. Yeah, and that is kind of a sticky part when you get down to this old Earth creationism.
Mhm.
You are very close to a point where you can understand that there is no reason for a God.
Exactly.
I mean, but you don't have to go there. I mean, if you want to stop there, that's fine. Then you're getting along with all of science, and we're not having this war.
The
And
only thing I don't think like naturalism is like has adjusted or not has adjusted to, but like hasn't figured out yet, because I would say abiogenesis is almost like it's on the brink of being solved. It's a matter of integrating theories and continuing the same process of predictions and experimentation. But I would say like the one part of science that seems to be just kind of like the humdinger is the question of like the Big Bang and its origin. Like what came before like the Big Bang, like regarding its structure and stuff like that.
well, you kind of make a parallel with abiogenesis. There's too much math involved. We aren't capable of that kind of math yet.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, it's the fact that like I wouldn't say they're similar in the sense that with abiogenesis, at least we have kind of like the chemistry. So like the background of like how matter interacts, and now it's a matter of finding, these networks of interactions that lead to life in the case of abiogenesis. But with it seems to be the case that like with astrophysics and cosmology, what's required is something new for physics. It's requiring a quantum theory of gravity, which doesn't yet exist. We don't have a quantum theory of gravity to use currently.
Well, we don't have a viable geometry for space and time yet. We have the geometry for what we're embedded in, but we do not have the geometry for what is outside of that and what could possibly have created that.
Well, and that's something that'll probably remain unknowable.
I don't know.
I think of it this way: we can't observe like what's outside of the ability of light to travel or gravitational waves.
Well, we can't observe it, but we can mathematically figure this stuff out.
And you can mathematically show a lot of different things, but that doesn't mean that's what's the case.
No, it doesn't. But if we come up with a mathematical structure that accurately predicts 4D space-time and predicts big bangs, if we come up with something outside of that, we at least have a viable hypothesis. And that's what we should be looking for. We should be looking for that outer geometry. But I'm not a physicist, so.
No, I mean, I stop at physics like once you hit quantum field theory, because I don't understand that shit at all.
Okay, Eric 311. I honestly wonder if teaching your kids that evolution and scientists are wrong is part of why there is so much mistrust in scientists with masks and the current pandemic. And that is, yes. I'm dying of allergies this morning. That is the whole fucking thing. It's amazing how this whole ball of wax goes together. You've got vaccine denial. You've got mask denial. All of this seems to go with the creationist right wing, let's vote for Trump fucking mindset. And it's disturbing. So as soon as you start doubting science, well, if you doubt evolution, you're doubting, I think, 99% of the biology. and biologists and what they're doing right now, and that is a problem. So let's see what Smokey says, and then I think I kind of want to end. To clarify, it was more a point specific to the proponents of the theistic evolution, basically discounts the essentiality of God in most instances where the evidence isn't there for naturalism. Yeah, you see the thing, Smokey, I think evidence for naturalism is more consistent than you understand. And that is a big topic. So, but let's see here, to clarify. Yeah, discounts the essentiality of God.
Maybe we should have him join and just discuss this point.
That's going to be a long discussion.
Well, I mean,
I got a lot of shit to do today.
well, I mean, if we want to cut it off after an hour or whatever, we can do that, and then have it at some other point.
20 minutes, we could. Yeah, if you want to join Smokey. Anyway,
it's up to him. I mean, he might be doing other crap later this morning too. I mean, I don't know. It could just be,
The thing is, what the hell was I going to say? Oh, that's my idea that creationists, instead of having faith in God and finding God in the Bible and believing in their doctrine, what they want to do is use science to bolster their belief in God. They want to prove God with science. That's what they're doing. So, okay. Well, we'll have you on another day, Smokey. Maybe we can start having a meaningful dialogue at some point. But he's got stuff going right now.
All right. Well, we'll keep the topic open so that way if he does want to discuss it at some point.
But anyway, I want to point that out again. Creationists want to use science to prove God because they seem to lack faith in Christianity. So SFT, that's why he always wants to just talk about genetics and nothing else. He wants to talk about his science proving God. Well, guys, do it a different way. Do it a different way. Stop putting out pseudoscience and trying to prove God with pseudoscience. It's not going to work. It doesn't work. Okay. That's the point I wanted to make. And the other point I wanted to make about lies and lies is that we're using the same dialogue on each other. We are two different camps of people with very, very different brains. And we're coming at it's almost like we're two different species,
Mm-hmm.
Very odd, very odd. Okay, back to the war, gentlemen. Y chromosome, something I'm looking into. One of Standing's lies. Let's end the broadcast.
All right.
We inspired him. Be gentle, Smokey. Okay, we're ending the broadcast. We'll see you guys. Thanks for joining.